Hey everyone, I want to continue talking about this relentless attitude. And if you haven't seen the relentless attitude video, I need you to go back and listen to it because it kind of sets the stage up for this one. And that one, we talked about my dad, and I'm just looking at all the stuff that's happened to him. And I'll tell you, my dad wasn't the kind of teacher type, but he taught me a lot just based on the way he lived. And I didn't realize that until I did that last video. There was so much stuff that he did that I learned from him, and I didn't realize it until, recently, how much stuff that he did really taught me that's kind of in my DNA, or it's like programmed in my mind now. And I want to go back to when he had to sell his business. And I don't know if you remember this, but my dad, he had a backhoe, and we dug footings for new construction homes. So we dug all these trenches and filled them up with concrete, and, the next crew came and put bricks on top of it. And I remember there at the end of my dad's career on that part, is he came back to work from, I don't remember if it was his neck injury or something like that, but I also remember my dad had an artificial leg, so he was walking around the construction site and his leg got caught on something and he fell into a ditch, because you can't feel something snag his artificial leg. And when he fell into that ditch, it pulled his leg out of his hip. So of course they rushed him to the ER and stuff like that. And that was the last thing I remember about his career. Was that kind of was the turning point on that part, because there was so much other stuff. It seemed like he would get injured and he'd go back to work and get injured again. So, my mom and him had to make a decision on what to do. And they did decide to sell the business. And I'm looking at my notes to make sure I'm not missing anything, because there's a lot to this. So at this point, they had hip replacements. Of course, you remember my dad couldn't see that well. He couldn't no longer drive. He had the neck issue that paralyzed his vocal cords, so it sounded like he had laryngitis most of the time, so it was tough for him to communicate. The arthritis, everything, there was so much going on. But I do remember my dad adapting. And the reason I'm saying my dad adapted is because not only he had to learn a new role in his life, because he's been self-employed for so long, and he kind of did what he wanted to, and, just go. But now he was confined at home. And also I'm going to bring my mom into this, because she worked full-time also. And not only she worked full-time, she cleaned the house, she cooked, she washed the clothes, she did a lot of stuff. So I remember in this transition, my dad, with all his stuff going on, and I just think about that, it's like, you have one leg, you can't see, you can't talk, you're hurting all the time. And not once did he just figure, it's like, well, I'm just going to lay in bed today. I just, it's acceptable. I don't care. Nobody else is going to matter. They expect me to lay in bed or watch TV all day. But he didn't. He kept on. And the reason I say he kept on, so he was self-employed. He had to stay at home. So he took a lot of the roles that my mom was doing. So I remember walking in, I'm seeing him vacuum the floors. He was cooking meals. He was making things happen even though he was in a different role. And I loved how he adapted on that. He even kept all 6 grandkids for us, because I had 5, my brother had 1. And I remember, my wife didn't go there because it was every Wednesday. He watched all the grandkids. And I remember this one time where most of my kids were sick. And, my wife Michelle didn't want to bring them over there because they're sick. And he's like, no, you bring them here. It's my day. You're going to bring them here. And it was just, he didn't care if they were sick or not. And he just kept on. He would adapt to things. He would do new things. And, it was crazy, that transition on how he adapted. Only one negative part was, I think my mom was tired of the Kraft macaroni and cheese, because that was the one thing my dad cooked very often. But I was just thinking of how he adapted. Because things going to go wrong. Every day there may be something else. And there's a term for that. It's called life. Life is not perfect all the time. Stuff is going to happen to you. And make sure you're responding correctly, because your kids are watching you. And if you freak out and whine and cry and, the sky's falling mentality every time something happens, your kids are going to do the same thing. And it's just this programmed in their mind, because you're not teaching them that, they're watching that. And, I sit there when all this stuff goes wrong, because all the stuff we're dealing with now, you could easily just sit there and watch the news and be depressed all day. Or you can just look at what you can do. How can I adapt to this? What can I do to make things better? How can I turn this into a positive? And make it happen. You know, my dad's saying, it's like, yeah, we're going to keep on keeping on. And I love that statement. You know, it aggravates me sometimes, but when I look at it from his perspective, it has a huge impact. So when things go wrong, you should expect things to go wrong. So how do you react to that? Adapt to it. Make it a better place than what it was. You know, if something goes bad with you, it's like, okay, this is in my lap now, but I'm going to make the best of it. So thank you for watching, and if you got any questions or comments, please post them below. Thank you.